The 1953 Falcons were one of the greatest teams ever. This team won the Pony League by 18 games and went on to win the Governor's Cup. The manager was Dan Carnevale from Buffalo, New York. Before coming to Jamestown as its manager, Dan had a distinguished career. While manager of Bradford, he had one of his greatest years, winning the Governor's Cup. The starting pitcher for the 1953 Falcons was Al Taylor. Al was born in May of 1934 in Detroit, Michigan. From 1947 to 1952, he played sandlot baseball at different age groups in the Detroit area. In 1951 and 1952, at Derby High School, they won the city championship. He signed a pro contract with the Detroit Tigers in 1952 and played with the Falcons in 1953 and 42 years after the Governor's Cup championship team, Al Taylor and Dan Carnevale got together. The scene was Diethrick Park and a reunion of former Pony League players. Here's a unique interview between two of the stars of the 50s in Jamestown, New York.
This was in 1949 in Nashville, New Hampshire, on a bus trip. Greg didn't go on a trip with his family, and he and his family went by car, so we were all on the bus alone. And some of the guys had water, like little kids, had water pistols, see? So, and Marion Fricano and I were a little older than most of the guys because we'd been in the service. So after we got there, Greg heard about what the trouble we had on the bus with the water pistols and everything, and we got soaked. We didn't have anything. So Marion Fricano and I went out and bought these great big, that you would squirt, a big can like this that you'd squirt like this, you know. And we got those. We were going to get back at these guys. Well, he had a meeting in the clubhouse, and he says, "Okay, I heard what's going on. I want all you guys to bring those squirt guns here." So when we brought this thing up, this great big huge thing, he says, "Oh, not you, Bob Brown. How come? I can't imagine you doing that." But that's the kind of way Greg was, and so he was always a good guy. Wonderful manager, wonderful baseball man, a nice family, and just couldn't beat him. I liked him a lot. Okay. Angel. McBean was our catcher, yeah.
Tata had a bunch of them too.
Yeah. Tata had a bunch of them.
Yeah, that little left hand.
I was here, but he held us back.
They had me in Durham, and they were going to send me to Jackson, and I talked to Chicago and asked him if I got to go back to Seaball that hunt, I'd rather go back to Jamestown. We're in Detroit. Yeah. No, Lucadella. Tony. Yeah, he was a Chevy salesman in the office on Trumbull Avenue. And then I was out in Idaho Falls with Pat Mullen, 55. You weren't in the organization, 55. Oh, you were with the big club. Yes, okay. That's all. Yeah. I left the Detroit Tigers. Okay. And I was going to go back. I had a chance to go back to Cincinnati and 7 tonight. Yeah.
Does Orv have any recollections of Maury Wills?
We were just talking about him just now.
I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago about Hornell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a lot of maxing.
See,
He's being polite.
That's right. Not only is he a cocky bastard, what we're trying to say.
Oh, he said something like that.
Did he?
Yeah. He says I had a lot of braggadocio show.
You know the story on him? The Dodgers have given up on him. They sold him to some West Coast ball club, I think. Or was it Detroit? Did he go to Detroit? They sent him back. And then the shortstop got hurt or something. They started to play. Thought on stealing base. Of course, he was a banjo hitter. He just laid the ball, the bat on the ball. And, I guess the big leagues were tailor-made for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was successful, so
Exactly.
can't take that away from him.
In Olean, right? Well, to separate right field, a home run from a double in right field, they had about an 1.5-inch arrow board. Marv come up and hit one night, put it right through that board. The line drive and the same size as a baseball. We took the baseball out there later and we could put it right back in there. Never seen such a power hit in all my life. Still from up front.
Thanks. You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention down onto the field right now. In attendance at tonight's game, our former opponent and New York Penn League players, they founded in 1946, second base and third base. We have Orville Koch, who played for Lockport in 1947, 48, and 49 at third base, and also managed the Olean Club in 1951. We have Dan Carnevale, who was the manager of the Jamestown team in 1953. He has been a special assignment gentleman since 1972 and a scout for the Cleveland Indians. Also played for Bradford back in 1949 as a manager and a shortstop. Our good friend Lyle Parker is on hand tonight. Of course, played for Jamestown back in 1942, 44, and 45 as a pitcher. We have Al Taylor here. Played for Jamestown in 1953 and 54 as a pitcher. And finally, we have Kerry Kellogg, who pitched for the Jamestown Expos back in 1979 and 1980. Let's have a big hand for all of our former Pony League and New York Penn League players.
Tommy Hurst.
First. Tom was a pitcher for Jamestown.
He's up a little tighter, fellas.
Jerry Klein.
Probably the most humorous guy I ever met in baseball. Keep it a secret. If you had a curveball
that broke like a bomb, you must have
left in the league you came from. 85,000 our scouts paid for you. And you keep on losing 12 and 15 to 2. Why don't you quit baseball? Try something instead. If you're a great pitcher,
our team
if
would
you win a ball game, our team will drop dead.
So
If you're a great pitcher, it's now plain to see. You kept it a secret from me. That was Jerry Klein.
Yep.
He would be driving the bus singing that song all the time.
Of the 1953 team, and one of the best teams ever in the history of professional baseball was Danny Carnevale. One of his star hurlers was pitcher Al Taylor.
we come back from, we played at Wellsville. I think it was Wellsville, we coming back. So we were coming back on a road trip. I think you remember this, Dan. You had to stop for some worms outside of, out by Salamanca. So he says, it's only going to take a minute. I think you were coaching that year, wasn't you, when the bus broke down?
So, yes.
Yes. Well, he makes a right-hand turn. He says, it's out this farm. We're going to go up there and pick up these worms because we were home for 10 days or something like that. So he was going to do some fishing. So he picks up goes gets the worms, puts the bus in reverse. There's nothing. We had to be towed from was Salamanca to Jamestown. We had to wait for a tow truck to come from Jamestown, pick us up, take us into Jamestown. We got into Jamestown about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And we told Jerry, don't ever stop for worms. You ever. It's a pretty comical thing.
I think he helped, Jerry Klein in his own way, helped the players feel at home.
Oh,
And he was a
no
big help
doubt.
to the ball club. Very big help to the ball club. He was friendly with everybody. He loved everybody. He was a fine human being. And he, his lady friend had a restaurant over there
In
in
Lakewood.
Lakewood. We used to go up there for breakfast once in a while.
Yep.
And he would tell stories and jokes that we would laugh for 2 hours.
Detroit treated him good. Yeah, they brought him down to spring
Lakeland,
training.
and he
Yep.
lived down there the rest of his life.
Yeah, and he passed
Oh, he
away
passed
down there.
away,
As
yeah.
they, God bless his soul. But he was an experience. And the thing, you got trainers today. Jerry didn't even give us rub downs. That's something that he was just a human that you never can forget. Yeah, Jerry Klein.
He was a ninja.
That's terrific. That's
Tell me more about what you did when you were with me.
Well,
Record and everything.
9-2 my first year. I had a good start.
What year was that, Al?
53,
53?
Left-handed,
right-handed.
right here.
Right-handed.
But
Picked me for the opener here in
What was your
Jamestown.
best pitch?
I had a good curveball.
Breaking ball, I remember.
Yeah, I had a good curve. Had a good fastball too, but as I say, we didn't have the coaching that they have in this days. I mean, you did your job, but once we got out of spring training, we didn't have, we had to
In
develop.
those days,
Well, we were on our own.
We ran everything. You know what?
Hey, tell Al how the team got picked. You were telling me, I think it's a fascinating story.
But you know,
53.
the best part of the whole thing is that when a player is signed by a scout
Right.
and he's sent to camp, the scout saw some natural ability in that player,
Right.
or he wouldn't sign him.
Exactly.
Therefore, I am in favor the first year or two of leaving the kid alone. Well, he got there, let him work on it himself.
Yeah, but you know what?
First year. Then after that, you start into a,
Start changing.
that's right, what
the
needs to
kid-
be done.
Right, exactly.
But the guy got there on his own merit.
Right.
He got there because he pitched on a college team or he played second base on some
You
team.
remember Marv Mellison from Detroit at the time?
Yeah.
They tried to change him, they sent him
They
back.
ruined him.
Yeah, but he had an awkward delivery.
See, I managed 15 years in the minor leagues. Triple A 5 times, double A about 5 times, and the rest was middle A. And,
The young kids.
yeah. Now, when I look back in history and look at what you're doing today,
They're ruining it.
Absolutely.
They're ruining it.
Now, if I sing it on television, everybody says, "Ah, you're nuts."
Yeah.
Can't be. They got teachers. This guy was a good hitter in the major leagues, and now he's helping this guy swing a bat. The guy got there on his own merit. Let him alone.
I can't golf like you. I can't bowl like you. I can't play baseball like you. Everybody has a different body. There isn't two people that are alike. And that's exactly what the whole situation is. And the thing is, with the coaching that they got right now, these kids, they get trained in college, and most of them, they don't, Litwater, he was down in Florida State, and you've got Bobby Richardson coaching down in South Carolina. They don't, well, as I say, they may, I talked to a couple young gentlemen that is from Maple Grove there, down in South Carolina, and I watched them bat, watched him batting practice, and had his doggone shoulder too low, and everything was an uppercut. And I says, you got to get your shoulder, your hands above where you're going to come into it like that. And doggone if he didn't go to college. And he says, he come back and told me, he says, Richardson told me, but he says that's the only thing that he told him. The rest he left alone. And so I say, if I'm going to coach, I may show him how to hold. Now they go with the split finger stuff. I don't like the split finger. I don't like it because of the simple fact it's just putting up too much pressure in here.
The biggest problem with that is the control.
Exactly. You got more than that. I mean, the old days, Danny, they used natural ability. You throw strikes, and there was none of this plutooning.
You know,
When the left-handed batter come out there, the pitcher come out there, you hit him.
Right.
You don't.
In the years that I managed, I had 15 times. I had one coach, and he was a player coach, was Gomer Patch. He's now managing in West Palm Beach for the Montreal club. And all the rest of the time, I had guys like Jim Bunning. He won 100 games in both leagues.
Did you have Frank Larry too?
Frank Larry, Floyd Tack, I had all those guys.
Duke Moss.
You think I walk out there and say, hey, you're holding the ball the wrong way?
No. Every one of those 3 or 4 guys pitched different.
Yeah.
That's right.
Everybody different. They had a different frame.
You know, you think those guys would give me the ball when I went to the mound?
There's only one thing.
They didn't want to take. Today, you can't get halfway out of the dugout. The guy wants to give you the ball.
George Alusic. Everything he hit, you could pinpoint down that left field line. Now, him as a manager, the only thing that he could advise, maybe open up a little bit and do a little hitting to right field. Get those doggone. He had the center fielder playing left field, and he wouldn't hit a ball to right field, and that's what killed him because everything was pulled.
He got to thank you.
He doubled Triple A.
Triple A. I think
Yes,
he
he
got a
did.
couple coffees.
But George, well, Bubba Morton did. Did you have Morton? You didn't have him.
He hooked up.
We are hooking. We've been going.
Have you really?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, just like our stovetops.
That's right. You never know.
I had been 5 years in the Philadelphia Phillies organization prior to coming to the Detroit organization. And my first job with the Detroit Tigers was in Jamestown, which was their affiliate. At that time, the same as it is today. And we're dealing now from 1953 to 1995. And that's a few years.
Yeah.
But the same thing is there. The diamond's the same, the fences are the same, everything is the same, the ball is the same, and the bat's the same. The players are bigger. In a general sense, they're bigger and taller and heavier. And they're good athletes, most of them. And in the course of events, I look back, and the players that I saw in Lakeland, Florida, my first year in the Detroit system was a total unknown to me. The quantity and quality of these players was way out in left field somewhere. And Cy Williams, who did all the scouting for the Tigers in those days in the Western New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio area, had signed several of the players. So Cy and I, being friends for way back, even in high school, because he didn't really go to the same high schools in Buffalo, we've been friends from all the way there. He says to me, don't worry about a thing, Dan. Don't worry about a thing. I'll pick your team for you. He says, you don't have to worry about these fellas. I know them all. He's been in the Detroit organization 25 years. He says, I know them. I says, wonderful. I said, it makes it easy for me. So I went through the routine down there in Florida, developing the team, getting him ready. The selection of these players was done by Cy Williams. Now we open the season. I don't know the quality of these players. Still, I don't know the quality of these players. But we won 15 straight before we lost the game.
And then, you know,
And then we finally lost the 16th game, and as I said before,
Yeah.
we gave that away, and I was mad because we lost that one because we gave it away. Had we been defeated like 10-2, I would say, fine, yeah, the club did a great job. But we gave the game away. We should have won a continuous number, although we did finish winning the pennant that
he
year.
won by 25 games.
Somewhere in that area.
Yeah,
25.
It was a
Awesome.
Cy
team.
Williams made one remark, and so did John McHale. John was farm director at the time. He says, "You'll be on the beach by the 4th of July having fun." And it was true. But that was one of the good years in baseball for me. And I had many good years in baseball, 50-some years. And I've been with Cleveland since 1972 as a Major League Scout. For 21 years in a row, I'd like to find someone else who's done what I did. I've seen every Major League club play for 21 consecutive years, anywhere from 3 to 9 times. I want to find another scout who's done that. Since 1972.
Let me stop here, Dan. You've seen them all. Who was the best?
Who's the best?
To reflect back.
I can't pick a best, but I can pick about 3.
All right.
I'll pick Ted Williams, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick a player, he's my number 1. Joe DiMaggio, number 2. Stan Musial, number 3. And the guy that plays center field for the Giants,
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays, number 4. After that, you can put them all in there good too.
Yeah.
There's some great ones. But if I had to start a team, those are the guys I know.
Terrific. Al, give me the lineup. Give me the 53 lineup. Do you recall?
Go ahead.
We had Gabby Waitaki playing first, or catching. We had Kenny Waters playing second. First base. Bobby Taylor was playing second. We had McElroy, short. We had Tom Sarna was playing our third baseman. Then we had George Alusik. I think he was our right fielder because he had a good arm.
Yeah, very good.
And Pete Vittorito was our center
Left field.
Left field. Then you had Gene Neff.
Then we had the guy from Ohio State. Hess? I can't remember.
Stu Hine.
Stu Hine.
Stu Hine.
He was a good one.
Yeah.
He was out of
And
Ohio
on the
State.
pitching staff, he had
Bob Shaw.
Bob Shaw, Vince Traken,
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
You had
Bob Mish.
Bob Mishy. He was a left-handed. You used him a lot as a. He was a. You used him in relief, and he won 16 games that year.
Furlong.
No, he wasn't. You had Paul Franks
Oh, that's right.
and Flickinger.
Flickinger, yes.
They were 2 from Pennsylvania.
That's
And you
right.
had Al Pahanic,
Hennick.
a real tall kid.
They were all good players.
And he had, I think Bob Rogers was a second catcher for Waitaki, and they sent him out. And he ended up being in the Angel organization, I believe. He was regular. Kenny Walters ended up with Cincinnati
And the Phillies.
and the Phillies, and Bob Shaw, he ended up with the White Sox. I went down to a ball game in Pittsburgh and run into Bob Shaw. He was with the Giants at that time. And there's an old saying, it's just like tonight. I haven't seen Dan here for 40 years. They don't change. You don't forget the experience. You can talk to anybody that's been in baseball. The experience that you have in baseball, I don't care how little, how big, you never forget. And it's the greatest bunch of guys I have ever been encountered with. You never forget them. It's like a club. And they're clean. There was no drugs in our days, no alcoholics. There was no, maybe a smoke now and then, but we stayed away from all that stuff. And as I say, we went out there and played the game because we had fun, we enjoyed the game, and as I say, you talk about going down to spring training. Now, in 53, of course, in 52, I got signed with Detroit. I was from Detroit. Got signed with the Tigers, and we go down to spring training. Well, you feel macho. You're 18 years old. You got a minor league contract. You actually have achieved something that maybe 10,000 other kids dream of. You never had. You go down there and you got to do this all over again. You got to do this all over again. You go down there. There's 200 people trying out for He goes down there, there's 200 people that they show. They come down from A ball down to B ball. It's just like in 54, I had a good year here in Jamestown in 53. 54, I go down to spring training. I have a Durham contract for 1 day. I'm back to Jamestown. And I come back here for 54 season. And it's
the big thing you got to remember too, in those days there were only 16 major league teams.
Yeah.
And that was a prevalent factor in this existence of ball players. Today you have 28 major league ball players. And if you look at, like I do, I've observed and seen the major league clubs play for a number of years. And the introduction in total of Dominican Republic, Latin America, Venezuela, if you took all those Latin Americans, Dominican Republic, and Venezuelans out of baseball, you wouldn't have much. You wouldn't have much. I'll tell you another thing, and it's factual. I said this the other day on the radio in Buffalo. Nobody's playing baseball anymore. The kids, I walked in Delaware Park the other day, which isn't very far from where I live. There was 2 soccer games going on. That's it. There was 3 baseball diamonds empty.
right. You got it
And I
here.
kept saying, where are the kids? We played baseball all the time when we were kids. They don't play ball anymore. And the amazing thing about it is, the bonuses are astronomical.
They're
I'll
getting
give you an
something.
example of what I'm talking about, and I'll show you how foolish baseball is. And it's difficult to recover. Back several years ago, they started the free agent draft. They pick the players, and then you got to go sign them. Now you got to give them a bonus. It's reached so high that the 28 picks last year in June, the first 28 picks, the cheapest guy got $400,000 to sign. I know a guy got $1,150,000 to sign. Now this is an 18-year-old high school kid who hasn't got $12 in his pocket the day he graduates, and 2 days later he signs a contract and he's a millionaire. What kind of a country are we living in?
The only guy ever to start opening day, 2 days, 2 years in a row.
Both seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I read that someplace.
Well, we picked up the paper here, and we went out for breakfast, and they says, "Yeah, you're starting tonight against Bradford." And I says, "Okay." Now, well,
Do you remember the game?
Huh?
Do you
Oh yeah,
remember
I won 8-2.
Sam Williams was to pick them.
I won. In those days, I got the first base hit. I got the first sacrifice. I think I scored. I won the ball game. And in them days, these local merchants gave $5 for all this stuff. Desco used to give a home run, every home run, a free watermelon and all that. And so I chummed around with Holly Powell, which he hit about 18 1 year, and as I say, we got about 18 free watermelons. But you pick your pals. But all my years in pro ball, I pitched the opener. I was on Idaho Falls,
That's nice.
and I was a winner. As I say, I was a winner, and it's kind of distinct. But then you, as a youngster, you don't realize I'm not the big, powerful 6'5" guy that some of these guys come in and got all that stamina. I threw my arm out when I was 22, so I had to give up my profession. But we went down to spring training. He formed our team. It was pretty quick. It was pretty quick. I bet within, like you say, Si picked the team within a couple of weeks. You had pretty much your focus. Because I got the clippings. My dad, yeah, I got them in the scrapbook. And Peoples was our general manager at that time.
Yeah. I know
And,
his wife visits with us all the time, you know.
Yeah, Lyons was our
Betty.
GM in 54.
He's gone.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
young.
super people, super
Yeah, those are
people.
great people.
But anyway, they had our team formed, and the thing that you had in them days, we had 2 papers here in Jamestown, and you had the Sun and you had the Post Journals. You had Frank Hyde and you had Wade Forsythe. They were down in spring training. I mean, they were down there, so they were writing about the second week of spring training. You got your town here in Jamestown knew what was coming here to Jamestown. So when they hit Jamestown, they knew pretty much by paper, pictures, and everything else what the team was. These people here today, they don't know until a couple weeks after the season starts who's here and what's going on. And in them days, he had a starting 9. Of course, he had a replacement. You had a couple extra in the outfield, and of course you had your pitching. But you had your regular people, which they were your team. You played your 126 games with these people. There wasn't much in or out. There was a couple that would come and try out and all this and that. But basically, our team was, we got to know Dan down in spring training. We respected him. He was a good coach, good manager. And as I say, we just went out and played one whale of a season for him. It's an experience that you can't, he wasn't a Gestapo, but we knew, you got to be a Gestapo, because you go on the road, you got to know how to handle these people, you got to be a father, a coach, a mother to these kids, because most of the time this is our first time away from home. And you got to know how to act. You got to know how to act in Jamestown. You're respected. You got to be respected by your community. You're not going to go out and say, hey, I seen Al Taylor or that come out of the bar drunk this night. This gets around. This is a whole, what do you want to say, a downslide for your organization, your team, everything. So as I say, we played good for him. We respected him. We liked him as a manager. They played one whale of a season for it. It was fun.
I can remember one particular incident that happened in this business here. Bob Shaw turned out to be an excellent pitcher, and he was at St. Lawrence University.
Little wacky.
And he was a fellow who had the power of his own convictions, which I respected. One day we're going to play somebody, and Bob didn't have any confidence in his fastball. Gabby Waitucky's our catcher. So I sat down with the two of them in the little room we had for the manager's room. I said, here's what we're going to do tonight. Gabby, you're going to put down all kinds of signs. And you're going to shake your head every now and then, like you're shaking off the sign. But you're going to throw a fastball on every pitch. Bob Shaw threw a fastball on every pitch of that club that night and pitched a shutout. The only way I could prove to him that his fastball was good enough was to do that. And he did it. Now, that was in 1953. Last year, 1994, I'm in Jupiter, Florida. My daughter lives in Jupiter, Florida, my son and my grandson. And we're going to go to dinner. We go down to a place and it says Shaw's Plaza.
Oh boy.
In Jupiter. Shaw's Plaza. My daughter says, that fellow was a ball player. Is that right? I never told her that he played for me. At the time, we're in the car. We go into a restaurant to eat. So I says to the other manager of the restaurant, I said, is Bob Shaw around? My daughter's looking at me. My son-in-law is an attorney. He's looking at me. What do you know Bob Shaw? I said, I want to find out if this is the same Bob Shaw that I know. Might have been another Bob Shaw. Sure enough, here comes Bob Shaw. Hey, Dan, how are you? What's going on? It was Bob Shaw, the same guy that pitched here at Jamestown for me, and we talked about the 19 fastball deal that I had with him. He remembered it.
It made him.
Yeah.
It made him. It changed
Proved
his
to
whole.
him, and he ended up winning 23 games one year.
It changed his complex, his confidence, everything. It's
in the sky.
you know.
It was a great thing. Jim Bunning was another one. Holy cow! Bunning's pitching for me at Buffalo when I managed the International League. John McHale, Bunning's my best pitcher. 20 years old. He got great stuff and a competitor. He'd hit his mother with a ball if they got a base. She got a base hit. John McHale calls. He says, "Dan, we got to have a pitcher. So and so got hurt. Who do you want to bring up?" I said, "What do you want him for?" "Want him for relief." I said, "We got the man, Babe Beer." Babe Beer was a veteran pitcher, pitched here, threw all kinds of breaking stuff, could pitch every day of the week and twice on Sunday. He never used a shirt. He always wore an open arm, and even 40 degrees and an open arm. Never had a heavy shirt on. He said, "Okay, send him up." So then I get a hold of Babe that night at the ballpark, and Babe going to the big leagues tomorrow. Oh boy, great. Jim Bunning finds out about it. Oh, he comes into my office. "What's the matter? Don't you like me?" I said, "Of course I do." "Well, you're sending Babe Beer up to the big leagues tomorrow, and I'm a better pitcher than Babe Beer." I said, "I know you are." I said, "I didn't say you weren't." I said, "But you know what they want up there? They want a guy to do relief, middle relief, end relief, mop up. Do you want to do that?" I said, "You're 20 years old. You're going to be a great pitcher. You belong here as a starter. You're going to finish the season here as a starter. You're going to go to the big leagues someday, within another year, and you're going to stay there. Jim Bunning ended up winning 100 games in both the National League and the American League. 2 or 3 years later, I heard of Jim Bunning in Cincinnati. Come over to me. Saw me sitting in the stands. I'm scouting the game. Dan, I can't thank you enough for what you did for me.
Great.
You remember? I said, I can't thank you enough for what, if you'd have sent me up here, it might have ruined me when I was 20 years old. But he stayed the whole year to make sure you go to spring training.
Yep.
He won 100 games at both leagues. Today's a congressman, you know, out of
Kentucky.
Covington, Kentucky. I see him every now and then. I go to Cincinnati.
That's terrific.
Great guy. He was a father of 9 or 10 kids.
Super father, super
Yeah.
ball player, super person.
Jerry Klein.
Oh,
Probably the most humorous guy I ever met in baseball. And he used to sing all those songs, Keep It a Secret, if you had a
if you had a curveball that
curveball,
broke like a bomb, you must have.
left of the league you came from, 85,000 our scouts paid for you, and you keep on losing 12 and 15 to 2.
Why don't you quit baseball?
Try something instead. If you're a great pitcher,
Our team
if
would
you win a
drop-
ball game, our team will drop dead.
So
If you're a great pitcher, it's now plain to see, you kept it a secret from me. That was Jerry Klein.
Yep.
He would be riding or driving the bus singing that song all the time.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.